Wow. Okay, so let's go back to real estate. Real estate in Canada, you said the current, we've been building 250,000 on
Houses.
average, the last houses, I think the number was, whatever it was 10 years ago, it's what
And
you're doing today.
it's the same number
It's
today.
the same number today, yes. But the average property value right now in Canada, we looked at the number, was $786,000 for single-family homes. That amazes me.
Yeah, in big cities, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, not in little cities, but yeah, that's
What
very
does it say here? Right there. So if you look at the average selling price of a home in Canada increased by 0.1%, year over year, 709. The average selling price of a single-family home in Canada increased to 786. When you look at the amount of supply and things that you have, why hasn't somebody in the last 10 years emphasized investing in building more to be able to lower pricing, so when a new family is getting married, having kids, they can't afford to buy $786,000.
And actually, there's a link also with our birth rate, because they did a survey with young family. And one of the reasons why they decided not to have kids, it's because they want to have a home before. And actually, that was, personally, I had 2 daughters. And yes, me and my ex-wife decided to buy a house before having kids. So they cannot buy a house and they're not having kids. So that's another relations. But why, if you ask me why, we must ask the Liberal government. There's a lot of regulations also in big cities. And so there's no incentive for provinces to cut down on regulations. And it's if you want to build something in a big city in Canada and to have all the permits, it can take months. So that's another big problem that we have.
Rob, can you pull up the birth rate in Canada? I just pulled it up right now. I'm looking at it. Canada's fertility rate is amongst the lowest in the world, placing it in the lowest of the low category.
Yeah.
With a rate of 1.26. Right now you have it at 133. I have it at 1.26 children born per woman in 2023. That's a 2022 rate. Joining countries like South Korea, Spain, Italy, and Japan.
So
wow.
The logic for mass immigration. They're saying our birth rate is going down. Let's bring all these people. But these people are not young. Usually they're about an average of 30 years old or something like that. They're not so young. And so that's not the solution. The solution is easy. Cut that mass immigration, do all these bold reforms, balance the budget, cut taxes, being sure to give more money in the pockets of these families, and they would be able to have a kid if they want to.
Yeah, that is scary to think about the birth rate. By the way, I just pulled up a number to see if it can break down what percentage. It's not breaking down percentage, it's telling me numbers on what age they are, the people that are coming in. But birth rate, let's go to that.
But they're not so young. So Statistic Canada, I think they did a survey about that. If you like, Statistic Canada, average age of immigrants, something like that.
In Canada, 64, 25 to 54. The median age of migrants.
So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
That's
47
not the
7 years old.
Yeah, that's not the solution.
They're not going to have kids, 47-year-olds.
No.
Wow.
And you told us the country where they're coming from. They're not coming from Europe or from, America or other countries. They're coming from, that's why I tweeted and I said that, when you import third world people coming from third world countries, your country will become a third world country. And that's what is happening. That's changing the social fabric of our country. And that's why populist movement in UK, in France, in Germany are growing because of immigration. And that's the same thing here in Canada.
Yeah, I just pulled this up. I asked the question saying, why does Canada have such a low birth rate? And it says economic factors.
Yeah.
Housing in cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal.
Yeah.
Job market. Many young Canadians struggle with job security, high student debt.
But now with mass immigration, we are importing cheap labor. And so that's a problem. Now, you said in India, we had a lot of fake students coming from India. They came here, they had a fake diploma. And usually when you are an international student, you come here, you study, and you leave after that. You're going back to your country of origin. They don't want to leave. They use that to be permanent residents. And after their diploma, they want to stay here. And Poilievre and Trudeau said, okay, we'll give you the permanent residency. So these people are cheating. They don't want to go back to their country. And Poilievre and the Liberals are saying, it's okay, we'll give you a gift. You don't respect our legislation, but we will give you a gift. We will give you permanent residency. That's the position of these.
Is that really his position?
Yeah. That
is really Poilievre's position is permanent residency for anybody that's come the last 30 years of getting permanent residence?
That's to solve the international students that are coming to Canada. They want to stay, and he's pandering to them. And look, international students from India.
What's the title say, Rob?
I'm not sure if this is the right article.
Would cut population liberal signaling immigration. The radical out of control NDP Liberal government has destroyed our 7% of country. Yeah, I want to know what he says about making them permanent residents.
Yeah, he said that for the students. I don't know for the international students.
So he said he's going to make
the India international students. They will have the right. He said they will have the right to work here more than 10 hours a week, and they will have the right to stay here after that. So that's what he wants. But actually, these and you can find a video of me speaking with an international students in PI, and they did protests all across the country. And I said in his face, after your diploma, if you don't leave the country, we will deport you. And I said that, I don't know, a video from this one here.
Can I hear this? Rob, hang on, pause it because I want to put the... Go for it.
Now you can stay, but when they're going to be expired...
We will see at that moment.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if some of you have their permit that are expired...
Nobody is standing here is illegal. They have their permits.
But in your group of 100 people...
Nobody is expired. If they would have been expired, they would have been deported.
Okay, but they will be deported when it be expired.
This is what? No.
No,
they won't be deported.
You just said that when it's going to be expired, they will be deported.
They will be legalizing their stay. No deportation will be needed in that moment.
But we will need deportation.
That's why you need to have full knowledge. You are a leader. I think you should have a full knowledge before you get here.
I have a full knowledge. I'm saying when the permit is expired, you must be deported.
You're saying my permit is expired. It isn't.
No, if it's not, but it will be in a couple of weeks or in a couple of months.
I can extend it.
But I hope they won't, because we don't need
you. They will.
No, we don't need you here in this country.
How can you decide it?
Because
for example, listen to
there's
me.
Canadians, there's young Canadians that can work at Tim Hortons.
Then they can. I'm not working.
Unbelievable, the level of audacity to say that.
They think that they have, the right to stay here.
And where was that fellow from? Where was he from?
India.
He's from India.
Oh, yeah.
That's number one, where it's coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what would you
And
do?
also, don't forget, universities and colleges are using that for financing their operation because they're paying more fees to come here than Canadians. It's more expensive for them than Canadians. So actually, some universities are very happy with that. It's a way because the federal government and provincial governments are cutting funding to universities. So they use the international students to finance their operations. So that's also, and I told you, university, you won't use that trick to be able to have more money. Just raise your fees if you want to.
So what is your solution on two things? What are you going to do to fix immigration, and what are you going to do to increase birth rate? Because the economy is what you got to address for families to decide to want to have kids. How are you going to address those two issues?
So first, the moratorium on immigration, no more immigrants. And so that's important. Second, that's all about the economy. So we want to balance the budget in Canada. We can do that in 1 year. We will cut foreign aid, $8 billion. We'll save that. We'll cut corporate subsidies, $10 billion. Our deficit in Canada this year is $62 billion. So we can achieve that. Poilievre is not speaking about that because it's not popular to speak about cutting. We will cut. We'll have a smaller government in Canada. We'll have our Canadian Dodge. I said that in 2020 that, we need to have a department of downsizing the government. I said that in 2020. So we will do that. We'll balance the budget. We'll lower taxes. We'll have a flat tax on business at 15%. We have 5 tax brackets in Canada right now on your income. We'll go down to 3, and the goal is go down to 1. So reforming the federal government, downsizing the federal government, respecting our constitution. Right now, the federal government is a big fat government interfering in provincial jurisdiction and provincial autonomy. We'll do that. We'll be able. And we have also a capital gains tax in Canada. We will cut that. No more capital gains tax in Canada. So lowering taxes, and we don't have a real free trade in Canada. This country has been built in 1867. And the reason that we exist as a country first was to have an economic union in Canada, to be able to compete against you guys in the South. That was the idea, to have an economic union. And now we don't have that. There's trade barriers between provinces. So we need to have a real economic union. We need to work about that. We need also to develop our natural resources. In my own province, in Quebec, there's a moratorium on the development of shale gas, for example. And so we need to be real pro-market and be able to develop natural resources. To do that, we need to withdraw from the Paris Accord. But Poilievre is okay with that. Poilievre, I must admit, he won't impose a carbon tax to Canadian consumers, but he will impose more regulation on businesses. He will give subsidies to the green industry because, he will do everything to achieve the Paris Accord targets. We won't. We will withdraw from that like President Trump. So, yes, we need to have that big, and bold reforms at the federal level to be sure to have a smaller government, being able to lower taxes and be giving more money in pockets of families.
Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.